Other news now, the US has shot down another unidentified object in North America. That's the fourth in just over a week and the third in as many days. It was downed over Lake Huron on the US-Canadian border. Well, earlier in the programme, I spoke to the Transport Minister, Richard Holden, and asked him whether there were any objects that had potentially been flying over the UK.
It's also possible that, and I would think likely that there will be people from the Chinese government trying to act as a hostile state. We saw it with Russia here in the UK with the Salisbury poisonings and other actions that they've taken. I think we've got to be realistic about the threat that these countries pose to the UK. They're not interested in our democratic values. They're not interested in standing up for human rights around the world. We are. And, you know, we've got to keep promoting those values at the same time as, whenever we can, offer sanctuary to people from some of these countries, especially we've got a relation to with reference to Hong Kong.
Well, this comes as the Defence Secretary has announced that the UK will conduct a review of its own security. Ben Wallace said the UK and her allies will review what these airspace intrusions mean for our security. This development is another sign of how the global threat picture is changing for the worst. So let's bring you some of the details of those flying objects that have been downed over North America in the last week. On Saturday, the 4th of February, on the instruction of President Joe Biden, a US F-22 jet fighter shot down a suspected Chinese spy balloon off the South Carolina coast. Then on Friday, President Biden ordered a fighter jet to shoot down an unidentified high-altitude object off northern Alaska. The White House said the object was the size of a small car and posed a reasonable threat to civilian aviation. Then on Saturday, the Canadian Prime Minister confirmed that a US F-22 jet, accompanied by Canadian aircraft, shot down an unidentified object over the mountainous and sparsely populated territory of Yukon in the Canadian Northwest, a region which borders America. And then last night, a US F-16 jet fired a missile and downed another unidentified object over Lake Huron on the US-Canada border. US authorities say that the object flew near sensitive military sites and could have been used for spying.